everybody who I'm supposed to be teaching to with my righteousness, then I ain't got nobody to teach to. So it's kind of ineffective. And that's kind of the statement from our conversation over here. She ain't even said me, but I'll say it again. So at any rate, I said because at the end of the day, if I offend everybody I teach with my righteousness, then I have nobody to teach. So that's the real reason why. You understand what I'm saying? That's the real answer why. Like, even though you might be all right, but if everybody think what you're doing is evil, it really doesn't matter how hard you explain it, they're not going to listen to it. So you know what I mean? And that's what that is. But at any rate, so we had a question come up, and the answer really hit me. That's why I was like, yo, we finna deal with it right now. So the question is, with all that's going on, and I'm paraphrasing the question, with all the stuff that's going in the world, should we be prepared? And so my initial answer is, well, it's called the time of Jacob's trouble. So it's going to be rough for Jacob. But then as we began to converse upon it, I was like, well, if I know Hurricane Katrina coming, I'm moving inland. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing whatever I need to do, basically, to prepare myself for whatever I know that's coming. And then I go to the restroom, and this scripture came to mind. Let's go to Genesis. To answer your question exactly, which is, are you supposed to prepare? Yeah, if you get the fair warning. And so here's the fair warning that came in Genesis as Joseph and them prepared. So let's go to Genesis chapter 40 maybe? 41, I guess. Yeah, 41 maybe. Yeah. Gotta be 41. Yeah. So let's see. And yeah, so I guess we'll start at verse 1. But you see where we're going with this, right, sis? Like, when I say where we're going with this is, like, Joseph was able to save Egypt because of preparation. So if you can save the day, save the day. But you know that the Lord coming back to destroy Egypt. So ultimately, you ain't going to be able to save the day. You know what I mean? But still, though, if you can save the day, save the day. And that's what we're going to look at here. So let's start at verse 41. Hopefully we ain't got to look at too much. So again, the question is, should you prepare yourself, or should you take up arms maybe? Should you go get, water on top of water, whatever the case may be? And, at the end of the day, the answer is put your faith in God. But God ain't in the habit of raising idiots either, though. So if you know they about to tell you that it's going to be another pandemic. Let's say they predict to you a pandemic is going to come. I know you ain't going to sit at home tripping. You already know. I need to go get some masks. I need to go get some toilet tissue because these folks don't know how to keep it on the shelf. I need to get as much bottled water because they're going to start putting a limit on it. You know what I'm saying? You are going to prepare. You know what I'm saying? Now, does that mean that you leave the country or something? I don't know. Depends on how bad the country gets. It might do mean get out the country before you go to the wilderness. Like I don't know, because I don't know if this place is going to last like we think. But anyway, we're going to check this out. Let's look at Genesis 41, and we're going to try to skip through it, but we're going to start at verse 1. This is the chapter, though, but go ahead.
And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine in fat flesh, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean flesh. And it stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river.
Go ahead.
And the ill-favored and lean flesh kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine.
So as you see, this is just a dream, but really the Lord is about to warn them of something. So what I'm getting at with this is, if you know, then I would advise you to do what he did. You know what I'm saying? Because you might save yourself some trouble.
Upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blast with the east wind sprung up after them.
All right, that's good. Let's get down to verse 12.
Verse 12.
Yes, sir.
And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard, And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream
So
did he
Joseph's going to
interpret.
be the interpreter of the dream for us, as we know. Go ahead.
And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office.
That's good. So now we're not going to get too much into the dream. We'll look at some of it, but it's not that detrimental because we're going to know basically what it is. Let's skip over to verse 20. He in the middle of breaking down the dream.
And the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first 7 fat kind. And when they had eaten them up, it would not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored as the beginning. So I awoke.
Go ahead.
And I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good.
All right, that's good. Let's skip down to verse 27.
And the 7 thin and ill-favored kind that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he showed unto Pharaoh.
So that's the thing about it, is that even in this case, like, we know ahead of time what we're actually going to prepare for. We're going to prepare for a famine here. Sometimes we don't know what we're going to prepare for, so we're not going to go crazy, trying to prepare for something we don't know. But there are things that we see obvious that we need to prepare for. But keep going.
Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine. And all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt.
All right, that's good. Let's jump down to 32.
And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass.
Keep going.
Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt.
So, there's a lot of variables in play with this too, because basically this is how Joseph was able to save Israel. Was able to save his family through all of this. So, like I say, so many variables of why, kind of even going back to our conversation over here, it's like sometimes God got to intervene. You know what I'm saying? Because how we finna get Israel down into Egypt? You know what I mean? Like, how we about to really do that? So it's always so many things at play when you're dealing with God. But go ahead.
Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities.
Go ahead.
And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine.
Go ahead.
And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said to Joseph, For as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art.
Let's skip down to 46.
And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls, and he gathered up all the food of the 7 years.
So you see, like we talking about storing water, like you see, it's a time for that. And so I'm never going to personally tell somebody you look stupid for getting all your stuff together, because I might be knocking on your door like, can I borrow one of those hash brown things you got from the store, because I know that's all you got left. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, so like I'm never gonna knock the next hustle. You know what I'm saying? That's foolish, because otherwise I'll be knocking Joseph. Like, Joseph, what you doing? Got them folks stacking up all this stuff. But go ahead, keep reading.
And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which
that's good. So now let's go down into 42.
Thank you.
Chapter 42, verse 1.
Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt.
See, so now look how that trickled down. You know what I'm saying? So now it's corn in Egypt. Why is it corn in Egypt? Because your son was prepared when he was warned of what was to come. You know what I mean? And so now Jacob was able to be saved and receive a salvation. Basically, at the end of the day, we was able to be created. Now, so really to answer your question, that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you know something on the horizon, don't be stingy, first of all, I'll tell the rest of us. But go ahead and do what we need to do. You know what I mean? Like that. Now, on the flip side of the same token of what we was talking, I'm like, it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that in I don't mean that to be disheartened. When I mean by it really doesn't matter what you do. It's either God got you or not. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get it twisted. If we gonna be stuck here, like we was on that conversation, you're gonna be stuck here, it'd be nice for you to have a whole can of beans. But you might literally be on the run the whole time. So you might not ever be stationed there. You know what I'm saying? You might be a day here, a day there. You know what I'm saying? So really, at the end of the day, my thought process is to learn how to fend for yourself on a daily basis. That's my thought process. And no, we're not going to be outside eating raccoons. You know what I mean? Like, if there ain't no clean beetles out there, then I guess we're going to be eating grass. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't call it. But I don't envision us being stationary during the Great Tribulation period. Now, here's a couple of other things we can look in this capacity. Let's go to Jeremiah 30 first. Jeremiah chapter 30. You know, I just don't see us being like, you know, let's take Israel, the Church of Jesus up in Gary. I don't see us being there during the Great Tribulation. You know what I mean? They blowing that joint up if they can, or they rallying up everybody, or they setting you up to come back so that you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's really playing like a movie, you know what I mean? And it's really playing like whatever, you know, if you don't take the mark or whatever, you're going to, you know, be taken off your head, then that don't sound like they just going to let you stay at your crib and starve you out, you know? Sound like something a little different. But we're going to go to Jeremiah 30 first so we can see it from this aspect. And let's pick it up at verse 3.
For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah.
So that statement, I never understood it at first. But what he's saying is, when he said I'm going to bring again the captivity, he said I'm going to take them out of captivity. That's really what he's saying. I don't really know why it was worded like that, but I always was like, what, bring again? But like, it's kind of like saying, almost like, I'm going to bring you out of that captivity. You know, that's what he's saying. But you'll see. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
Yeah.
And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness.
So he's saying that as he bring the captivity back, he like, man, these men gonna be like women in travail. Like, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be bad out here. So, you know, it's not alluding to the fact that your preparation saved the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I don't want to dissuade anybody to not be prepared. I want you to be prepared. Meaning, I want you to go out, tell me what to get. You follow what I'm saying? Because I'm not stupid. I've been around long enough to know you better to have and not need than to don't have it and need it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm like, no, I'm not trying to tell nobody don't be ready. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I just got to show it's going to be bad. That's what it's going to be. And it really don't matter how much we prepare. It's only going to be by the grace of God if we are allowed it safety, or if we are allowed it health, or whatever the question may be. But keep reading a little more.
Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it.
Yes, sir.
It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Right. So he's saying where the Lord, like, I'm going to save you out of this time of Jacob's trouble. You know what I mean? So it's not that he's not going to deliver you, and he might deliver you on spot. But at the end of the day, just know it's going to be a rough one. Let's check one more. We'll check out two more. Let's go to Daniel, and then we'll look at something in the New Testament. Daniel 11. Daniel 11. Daniel chapter 11. And that's I mean, that's been like I said, that's been a great question. It's been a long question. Meaning been here for a long time, and most of the time, the answer is the Lord will get you. You know, put your faith in God, and that's still the answer. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, but just as like I said, as we were talking about it, you know what I'm saying, because I wasn't kicking against any idea of saving yourself, but I also know that you can't save yourself. But also, I'm just saying, as I was contemplating that little 15-second run or whatever, it was like, yo, but what did Joseph and them do? He made sure we were straight. So if you can do that, by all means. But your faith got to be in God, because like I say, we could be sitting over here, you know, house full of beans, you know, we got, you know, beef jerky all over the place, we got whatever, parsley, whatever it is, and then you ain't there tomorrow. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, too late, huh? Yeah, I mean, you know, again, like I say though, and I'm with you on that. And I don't know, you know, I know a few things gonna happen. Cause I was in Philly last year. Look, y'all gonna have to put more than boards up if y'all really trying to put the squeeze on. Cause I rolled past Family Dollar and it was wide open. So I ain't worried, like as long as it's in supply and within the vicinity of the city, I ain't worrying about Israel getting to it. You know what I mean? Now, again, it will prevent you from having to go out there and mess with that crowd. You know what I'm saying? But please believe we gonna eat. Like what they say, we baby kids, we do not die. You know what I'm saying? Like no, because we continue. We all so I do not worry about us. We don't been through the worst of hell. But at the same time though, we ain't stupid. So if it's a way you can, you know what I'm saying? But you just gotta know where you are though. You in your captor's land. So if you in your captor's land, your land is his land. You know what I'm saying? Your guns, his guns. You see what I'm saying? Everything you own, practically down to the clothes on your back, really belong to your captor. That's what make us still a slave. So at the end of the day, whatever you get, it's only because he allowed you to have it. Even if you were smart enough to figure out, well, I'm going to go hide this in the barn. Ain't no place hidden from these dudes. That's what Ezekiel 28 was saying. Ain't no secret they can hide from you. Ain't no, you know, you ain't got no, trust me, you ain't got a secret bunker. They got secret bunkers. You know what I'm saying? Like when I say that, like you might be, you know, you might be smart. I wouldn't be surprised you got yourself buried back behind the pool somewhere. Yeah, that ain't nothing, bro. They got secret bunkers. You know what I mean? But let's look at this Daniel 11, right? And then we're going to go to Revelation, and then we'll open it back up for any type of questions and or comments. So we're going to go to verse 32. Daniel 11 and 32. Start it there. When you get there, go ahead.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries.
Yes, sir.
But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploit.
So right here, we're actually in the Great Tribulation period. And while we're in the Great Tribulation period, one of the things it said is the people that know their God, they're going to exploit. So that means that during that time period, there is going to be some type of survival for us. You see, even if you're in tribulation, there's going to be some type of survival, whether that was because you managed to do it or whether because, you know, God managed to, you know what I'm saying? Like either way, it's going to be the hand of the Lord. But what we know is that there's going to be some type of survival. Go ahead, keep reading.
And they that understand among the people shall instruct many.
Yeah.
Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days.
Go ahead.
Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help.
So that was the reason why I wanted to look here. Like the Lord is saying, you got a little help, but you ain't got a lot. You know what I mean? So like these is the things you got to think of. So, you know, because people used to be like, do I got to get a passport? But I mean, you can say you can have a passport all you want, but you only, trust me, if they ready for you to go, you going, and if they not, you not. That's really what it boiled down to. But let's go look at Revelation chapter 6 real quick. Chapter 6, Revelation 6. So I guess, you know, at the end of the day, we never really got to the question, which was, do we, I think is where the question was, do we have some type of way? And really, it's per this is what you got. This is what you're going to learn. So if they cut the internet off right now, and they cut all the phone lines, y'all just got each other. That's it. That's my answer. We got each other in Philly. Gary got Gary. You understand what I'm saying? So whatever y'all did to survive, do that to survive. You understand? Like, meaning, don't look for Atlanta to save you. Don't look for, because we're going to be too busy trying to save ourselves and the ones of us that didn't handle our business in preparing. You see what I'm saying? So that's really my answer to that, which is, it's per you. If that's what you feel, you know what I'm saying? And who gonna do it per us, if that's what we feel. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing, like, it's Israel, the Church of Jesus, no doubt. That's an organization that has a banking account. You dig what I'm saying? That's somebody who keep the lights on. But this the church right here, though. And I've been telling y'all this. You know what I'm saying? This the church, the people that you see. You know what I'm saying? The camaraderie you build, the love that you build, the hate that you build. This is the church. You know what I'm saying? So now, when you say, well, what is we doing? What are y'all doing? You get what I'm saying? Because then when you say, well, what are y'all doing? Like when we was in Revelation, chapter 7, it was 7 churches. You see what I'm saying? And the letter was written to each one. So, like, you know, what you do is what you do. You know what I'm saying? That's really kind of the answer to that whole question, you know, from the origin of the question. But Revelation chapter 6, I learned that from Nate. Because Nate went all extra when, this was before I was still living there. And that's when I knew about having a generator. Dude, like, I got water all in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, you really, like, prepared? Like, we about to go to World War III or something. You know what I'm saying? Me, in the meantime, I'm like, do my internet still work? so I can check www. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't worried about getting something to drink. But then I guess if I needed to get something for my family, what was I going to do? I was going to have to go out there and take it, huh? He ain't going to have to do that. You understand? Which makes it more difficult on me. Because who's just giving up their goods? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, no, I'm not saying he wasn't. He was definitely smart. And it's good to have that thought on mind. But again, once again, I reiterate over and over, faith got to be in God. God going to provide one way or the other. And you know he going to provide because he already wrote that he's going to provide. You know what I mean? But Revelation 6, and this is the Antichrist. So we're still in that same time period. Pick it up at verse 1 when you get there.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
Go ahead.
And when he had opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd beast say, Come and see.
Yeah.
And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Right, because like at the end of the day, what we're reading about right now is we can't win. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the Lord is going to be the one that's ultimately delivering us. So even if we did stock up and we had a room this full of water, and we had you know what I'm saying? Like we had some location buried under the ground or whatever the case may be, some central location that we could sneak off to. You know what I mean? Like, and get what we might need and run back to where we, like at the end of the day, man, they controlling this. And it ain't gonna really last that long, you know. Now it might carry you 6 months in, and 6 months in is better than no month. That might be the difference. So again, I don't want to disenheart anybody. I just want you to realize, number one, God gonna take care of you, and number two, they is against you, and it ain't a whole lot you could do against them. Like, you know, we could all, you know, 1 million man army if we want. I mean, we can get a 1 million man march if we want to, and all they got to do is come in with one of those, what was them little stealth bombers? You know, the one that you don't even hear them show up, so you won't even see your death. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, we can't win against them without our God. Like, I don't want us to, look, we ain't Marcus Garvey, we ain't Malcolm X, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't, them people showed us that, look, this is a real government. You know what I'm saying? We just a bunch of Christian people. Now, don't get it twisted. You know, when you get us together, I mean, we built this place. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, it's the Gentiles' time. You know what I'm saying? So what army do we could build an army, we can go, matter of fact, we can go and hook up with the Korean army if we want to. And they got a dog army. And we still gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? And make it so bad, the Koreans gonna be smart enough to put us up there first. You know what I'm saying? So you still can't win, you know?
So, I mean, and that's just the sad part about it. At the end of the day, we in a lose-lose because we ain't in our own. We was in our own. We had a Marine. We had a Navy back then. Go ahead. What verse?
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another.
Keep going.
And there was given unto him a great sword.
Go ahead.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see.
Uh-huh.
And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
So at the end of the day, all we getting at, and we can keep doing this, is they gonna really control the food market too. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be tough to, people be like, well, I don't learn how to grow a garden. Where you buy your seeds at? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just saying, like, I'm not really trying to, because really I respect and love and appreciate all that everybody owns. Just keeping the proper perspective that at the end of the day, ain't none of this yours, and you're going to need Jesus. That's really how, but like I say, we saw them prepare. So if you know the storm coming, let's look at one more, Matthew 25. Matthew 25. You see the storm coming, man. Like, please don't be stupid. Go grab an umbrella. Matter of fact, go inside. You know what I mean? Like, that's almost common sense. So that's why I'm not trying to take the common sense out of what you said. You know what I mean? If I know that they about to make it where I can't go to Walmart and get nothing to eat, you know what I'm saying, then I think I might need to start finding a way to make sure that we straight so I can last as long as I can last, at least buy me some time to figure out how I'm going to go get the next meal. As opposed to the day they shut Walmart down, now I'm done. So that's why I'm not trying to tell nobody not to prepare. I'm just saying at the end of the day, with all your preparation, it's going to take God. And it's going to be a man who couldn't prepare, and God going to take care of him. It's going to be a man who could have prepared and did, and God going to let them fall by the wayside. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of like, put your faith in God. You know what I mean? But, again, if you got the means, you know what I mean? You got the will, cool. You know what I'm saying? Because believe it or not, at the end of the day, if you don't use it, somebody will. You know what I mean? But Matthew 25, and we're going to look at this parable, right? Chapter, verse 1.
Verse 1.
Yes, sir. Chapter 25, verse 1.
Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps, and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
That's all we looking at, sis. I'm saying we looking at the fact that you call 5 of them wise and 5 of them foolish. Why? That's not what they doing. Like, I know the parable ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. But it's just the simple fact of it called these wise, and what did they do that were wise? Go ahead. No, keep reading.
They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Mm-hmm.
But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
Right. So at the end of the day, if you know something coming, don't you be no fool. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the end of the day. But again, like, it's just kind of like going back to Mississippi Burning, the movie. I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it a bunch of times. But, like, white man coming, and daddy gonna stand at the door with a shotgun. I sure am. Chances are, though, I'm gonna die before, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna die trying to save y'all, though. You know what I'm saying? But I can't beat them. It's just one of me. Maybe it's me and him. You know what I'm saying? It's just 2 of us, and it's a whole police force and your government behind you. I can't win. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, my kids gonna see me die trying. So, that's my thought process on it at any rate. So I hope that kind of helped a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Praise the Lord. Yup. All right. So question number 2. See, I got all the questions. No, I don't need no microphone. I got the next question. So look, and I'm paraphrasing the question. And the reason I'm paraphrasing the question is because we just gonna go right to the answer. And we done dealt with this before, but I'm paraphrasing the question. But look, here's how it works. So why is the Antichrist wrong? Why is Judas wrong? Like, why is anybody so wrong when God wrote the end at the beginning? Wouldn't that kind of be unfair? It's like when he wrote you into the script, he wrote you in as a murderer. Like, that's kind of dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a chance. Or do I even have a chance? You know what I'm saying? Like, could Judas have not been a thief? You know, Could who was the other one? Can the Antichrist decide to change his ways? Let's go to Romans chapter 9. We'll start here. You know, we was looking at some things like slain from the foundation of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, so if your name was in the book of life and somebody else was, you know, and Jesus was slain from the foundation of the world, so that means I ain't got to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm good if it's already in there. Or I get my name blotted out because I sinned. So now here's the thing that I learned. I made this statement to somebody earlier today. So when you get your salvation, Lord willing, we all get it. So we just going to say you got it when he comes. Do you have it now? The answer is yes. The answer is you was born with it if you get it in the end. You understand what I'm saying? If you get it in the end, that means that the person that's looking from high, like looking from above, can say, you in, you, even though we don't even see it. But it was always there. Because the Lord said, none of mine will I lose. So that means that from day one you was his. So everybody that gets into the kingdom was in there from day one. And it's a reason for that, you know. So we'll look at this first as our kind of foundation of how we're going to build. But we're going to look at a couple of other things. So we're going to start this off at verse 6. Romans 9 and 6. When you get there, go ahead.
Not as though the word of God had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Go ahead.
That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God.
Yeah.
But the children of the promise are counted for the seed.
Right, so he talking to the Romans. He like, look, just because they Israel don't mean they Israel. They be tripping. But go ahead.
For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son.
So he said the promise is Sarah going to have a son. Now, that promise was made to Abraham and Sarah. Well, they going to buck the promise with Hagar. Watch, you're going to see. Go ahead.
And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one.
So he's like, not even just that. But what about when Rebekah was about to have a child? Go ahead.
Even by our father Isaac. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that called it.
All right, so you peeped that verse out, right, Dave? Now check it. Going back to that same story. Going back to Esau and Jacob, right? So how did the story really play? Who started and finished who started and finished all of it? The mama, right? Think about it. Lord comes to the mama, say, mama, the elder gonna serve the younger. She ain't come to the daddy. Why? Why didn't you go to Joseph? I don't even understand that. Isaac. I don't even understand that. Yes, I do. Because Isaac took a liking to Esau. No problem. Them both your sons. But then when it was time for the birthright, Esau didn't come to the daddy and say, ooh, I sold it. So it had to come full circle that the mama had to intervene. You know what I'm saying? But why she intervened, though? Because the Lord said at the beginning. She don't know nothing about who served no birthright. She probably ain't even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? All she know is that the Lord told her to do something. No, the Lord didn't tell her what to do. Honestly, that ain't what that is. Right. You dig what I'm saying? Like when you go back to the story, the Lord didn't say, okay, so when it's time for, you dig what I'm saying? But it's going back to the origin of our question, though. Like, could she have did something else? Could this have played something? No, it couldn't have. You dig what I'm saying? It's like almost like everything is perfect timing with God. You know what I'm saying? He came in and hollered when he needed to. Talked to her. He ain't talked to her every day. You dig what I'm saying? But he talked to her that one day, divine intervention. That divine intervention played out later on, where it's we affected to this day. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, just think about that in the scale of what we're talking about, okay? So keep going, though. What verse?
Verse 12.
Uh-huh.
It was said unto her.
See? Go ahead.
The elder shall serve the younger.
See, it was told her who was going to do the serving. Keep reading.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
That was written way after. You dig what I'm saying? So, like, dang, we could even say at that point, yeah, you love it now because of afterward. But at the beginning, the mama was told that the elder was going to serve the younger. Go ahead.
What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid.
So that's really the question kind of in line with what we're talking about. It's still on that same, well, it's not, I know, trust me, but I'm saying it's still on that same line though. Like, so is God wrong for hating somebody that ain't even born, or is God wrong for how he functions with mankind? Because basically you got us down here like robots, but you don't though, because that woman made a choice to save her son. You dig what I'm saying? Like, that's what it all boiled down to. And Jacob made a choice to go and deceive his dad, saying that was deception. I don't care how you look at it. You told your daddy you was Esau and you wasn't. You said, feel me, daddy, I got the hair. Like, regardless of how it played out in the end, you was still deceiving your daddy. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, all of it is just like with Pharaoh. You made a choice. You could have let them people go. He did eventually. You dig what I'm saying? After 10 plagues. You know what I mean? Like, why you didn't do it after 3, 4, or 5? Because really it's all predestined still. And we're going to clear it here, though. Go ahead.
For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
So at the end of the day, that's it right there. But I get it, though. Because it's just like, man, when I used to play with my little toys, right? You know what I'm saying? I had He-Man, I had the Transformers, right? So once my He-Man dolls started getting beat up, they lost all the football games. Because, you know, I was playing football with them, straight up, though. But how can He-Man tell me, well, you had me first? I don't care. You're mine. You dig what I'm saying? And every time the game played the same, but the dolls don't know the difference. Just like us. We don't know the difference. Keep reading.
So then, it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth.
So now we looking at it like, well, it ain't on us then. Go ahead.
But of God that showeth mercy.
That's a true statement. But go ahead.
For the scripture say unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Keep going.
Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he harden.
Right. So he like whomever he will, but he gonna get it. He gonna get to how though. See, that statement right there just make it seem like he just, oh, I don't want Ronald Reagan to do this. Let me harden his heart. You know, I want George Bush to not do this. It ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Pharaoh. It wasn't like Pharaoh was proud all of a sudden when the Lord came through the land and made it all black. No, dude been proud. He was born and bred to be Pharaoh. They not even kings, they're gods. When they die, they go up into the stars somewhere. You was born and bred to be that. You had a God. That's why the plagues came in like they did. Oh, we're going to turn, that's the one for me. We're going to turn it black for 3 days when I know they worship the sun god. You know what I'm saying? That was a direct slap in your God's face. But keep reading.
Thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault?
So that's the question you're going to ask. Well, why is we wrong then? Keep going.
For who have resisted his will?
Can't nobody resist the will of God. That's the part of it. Can't nobody, if God say so, so that's why we going to get to our end. Keep going.
But nay, but old man, who art thou that repliest against God?
So then he say, look, man, watch your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be speaking against God. Go ahead. Or even like you questioning something that really kind of above your pay grade. Yeah, like, you know, but he gonna break it down to you though. Go ahead.
Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus?
Right, he's saying, like, look, should you say, like, let's go back to the Antichrist or Judas or Pharaoh. Like, Pharaoh on Judgment Day is not going to be like, why did you make me like this, God? As a matter of fact, in his mind, he going to be like, I am what I am. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he been. See, I tell people this to this day. I'm like, man, if I'm going to hell, I'm going to be in the lake of fire begging for mercy. Bump all that. I ain't too proud to beg. You know what I'm saying? I do not want to go to hell. So if there's any inkling of a chance that he would hear me and get me up out this joint, I'm still begging. You see what I'm saying? That's not a reprobate mind. But now when you stand it to the Lord and you like, yeah, I'm Pharaoh. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, that's a reprobate mind, bro. You lost your mind. You better calm yourself down. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. And Pharaoh was Pharaoh, just like any other king. You know what I mean? Go ahead, keep reading.
Have not the potter power over the clay?
Right. The Lord got power over us to do what?
Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Uh-huh.
What if God, willing to show his wrath, and to make his power known. Endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory, even us, whom
All right, that's good. That's good. So now let's go to Revelation 13, because we're gonna address something else in that, in that conversation that we kind of had, and then we'll look at. We ain't gonna go too much in it. I want to make sure other people get their questions in if they got them, and I could get on this. This is not a subject that's ever gonna really stop. This is not like breaking down the Holy Ghost. You know what I mean? Like, the Holy Ghost is 2 in the Godhead. We're done, y'all. The Trinity started in 321 at the Council of Nicaea in the discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how, whereas something like this, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to be scratching at this forever, trying to really comprehend it. Because here's another monkey wrench in it. Revelation 13 and 8. Revelation 13 and 8. When you get there, go ahead.
and all that dwelled upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
Okay, so we got a book of life, and some name ain't written in it, but then it says of the Lamb, so it's his book of life, and he was slain from the foundation of the world. That goes back to what you said, where the end is written at the beginning. How do we slay you from the foundation of the world? How, do we pick a date? And how do we get to that date? So let's answer this one first. How do you get your name in the book of life? Malachi 3 and 16. We'll read this real quick. Try to keep it as easy as possible. So at the end of the day, you want your name in there. Then the Lord told Moses, him that sinned, that's whose name I'm going to blot out. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see how you get your name in there. And then the Lord told